Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite Creator. And I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you will accept and receive the wisdom, the knowledge, the healing from the universe, and that you will accept and receive it and also to share it. Now, to start off with, there are a lot of folks out there who need our prayers right now. I have family members who are in. Hey, Chloe, how are you? Blessings. No, I'm not trying to this. Isn't sort of like to get prayers for myself or just my family. What I'm trying to say is there are folks friends of ours that are down in Australia, with the burnings like the California fires, much worse. A lot of different things going on. A lot of people around the planet who need our prayers right now. And so please always extend your prayers, to help those that we can't physically help. But anyway, moving on. Now, we've just come through the holiday season. Now, I want to say right off the bat, this is not about trying to dump on the holidays, okay? This isn't about that. But it is about the energy that we put forth for the holiday season, okay? Now, there are people around Thanksgiving. Oh, we all got to get together. Do we? Well, for some reason, there is this incessant urge, and it's repetitious because it happens once a year. And so that we try to recreate. We're going to have turkey and we're going to have dressing and we're going to have this. It's a recreation. It's a spiritual regurgitation or something. You know what I mean? Not to say that it's bad, mind you, but to the point, though, that so much energy is put into the repetition of it. What do you mean? Well, you keep repeating it. Does it get any better? Does it get worse? Do you change anything? Or, did you go to, there were folks this last holiday season. Well, we're going to having at my house this time. Well, we've had it at your house the last 4 years, but we're not trying to make waves here. So there's arguments, there's this, and who's got precedence over that? And holy crap, So it's like, in order to create whatever whose mind it is, that this spiritualness we want to feel the spirit of the holidays. Okay. Now that's where I want to that's as far as the holidays go, is the spiritual part. Now, part of my job as as an observer is to observe. And so in these last couple of weeks, there are many people who've been really quiet. And several of us have talked about it off camera kind of thing. Going, you notice things have been kind of quiet. Nobody's really talking about anything. And my question has been to the folks that I've talked with, are you depressed? Well, no, not really, but it's just I feel withdrawn. Interesting. Well, here's something. We just went through a cycle where everybody was trying to be prepped for the holidays. So, in the spiritualness of the world, well, those people who observe these kinds of things were put into this mantra. Now that it's over, it's like all that energy that, excuse me, all that energy that was gathered has now been released, and we're on the opposite side of it. Now, we also went through the winter solstice and all that kind of stuff. A lot of cosmic energies coming in, a lot of other things affecting our energies, big time. People, family members, their folks, their relative friends of theirs, there's stuff going on that's filtered down in all kinds of ways, not just those of us who are, quote, spiritually aware. And what the hell does that mean anyway? But I digress. And greetings to all of you. Gerald, Gerald, I think, Tree of Life. Hi, Ian, how are you? Blessings, Chloe, if you're still there. But so this discussion is about our spiritual repetition. Now, I've noticed in talking with folks and watching and listening and just observing, people are going through similar situations. And the thing is they kind of sort of already know the answer, meaning that they've been in similar situations before, but they haven't learned to use their own spiritual wisdom, if you will, and to recognize that, oh, holy crap, I've been through a similar event like this. What is my reaction to it? And my observation has been in certain circumstances, and I mean just, over here, down here, just little, not necessarily big things, but it's the idea that have you haven't you all kind of been through this before? Haven't you talked about this subject before? Haven't you sort of asked advice or whatever to not just me, but to other people seeking advice because, well, I'm having this issue? But have they are they actually repeating themselves in a cycle, in a circle? Because it doesn't seem like anybody has learned a dead gum thing sometimes. And they want to say, well, I'm on this spiritual road, but you're still getting angry at things that you really shouldn't. And, you're having arguments when if you were spiritually aware, you'd understand that it takes two people to argue. So if you're arguing, you haven't learned your lesson yet. So are you repeating yourself? And I got to say, hey, listen, one of the hardest things in learning your own spiritual, your own spirit, that was easy to say, right? Hi, Bob. Hey, Mother Nature, hola, hola. Lori, howdy, cosmic hugs all the way around. But I've noticed that it seems like people are just repeating themselves. So they're like a year later, they're seeking the same answers when they've already, I've known some of these folks now for 10, 15, 20 years, some people all my life. And I look at them and I go, but you're still not necessarily asking me, but you're still asking that cosmic question. When I remember having this discussion with you 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 months ago, and you don't seem to be paying attention to yourself, not to me or the universe. Well, maybe the universe, but they still go through the same cycles. Their brain still goes through the same torment. Their emotions get all upset about the same thing. And I'm like, you haven't learned. I don't say this directly to them, but in my mind, I'm thinking, you haven't learned a doggone thing. Your spiritual journey has netted you nothing. You have the information, you repeat the information to me in our conversation. Well, I wish that, and if I could control it, yeah, but you already know the answer to that. Well, I know, and then they make it up an excuse as to why it's still an issue. And like, wait a minute, from this point forward, right now, we change our futures by what we do. Earlier on, I had some friends here. We were chatting. I've had, wonderful friendship conversations over the phone and things and that. And I was like, I just need to get on here and say hi to everybody. Happy Sunday to everybody. I hope it's happy. But in our discussions about different things, it's like how we look at our future is what's important. So if I say, well, my back hurts. Well, my back hurts today, but it doesn't mean it's going to hurt tomorrow. And I was really worried about the rain. We got 1.5 inches of rain last night. Hallelujah, thank you, sky. And some other areas didn't quite get as much as we did here. It came early and lasted a little longer than it was supposed to by the future cast. Those prayers seemed to work. And so now we got 1.5 inches more rain. Holy crap, this is the most rain we've had in the last 3 weeks, and we've had in 9 months, y'all, almost a year. So it's a blessing to us. But anyway, to stay on topic with this, though, our repetition with our spiritual self. So you have to be self-aware enough to say, wait a minute, have I asked this question before? Who's going to answer you? Who's going to be truthful to you? Whether you look in the mirror, just sit down and just think to the outside world, hang on a minute, am I being 100% honest with myself? Am I repeating? Have I not learned a god dog thing about any of this? I'm still getting this is bothering me and da 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 da. So it was even brought up by a friend of mine, and we were talking about the compassionate observer. And I've talked about this with y'all before, and it's harder to practice than it is. It's not necessarily easy, and it takes patience. It takes perseverance. you know, and you have to work on it. It does not come easily. Nothing in life comes easily. If I got greens growing out in the garden, well, I had to go use the tiller. I had to go out there and rake the weeds out. I had to plant the seeds. I had, I just didn't go, ooh, look, I've got a garden and just, oh, Mother Nature's going to, not speaking to you, Mother Nature, but, it doesn't plant itself. No, I have to do something about it. I have to put forth energy to get these things back. And people are going, whoa, I did this and that. Well, have you done anything since the last time we discussed this? Well, I keep thinking about going out on the river, but I haven't done it yet. Well, that was 3 months ago. There wasn't one opportunity in the last 3 months that you couldn't have took to go do what you said you needed to do yourself. I'm not here to like keep score for you. But, when you call me up and ask me again, well, have you done anything about that? Well, no. Well, then, well, I still feel, well, stop it. Whatever that feeling is, whatever. And a couple of people, thank goodness, we had conversation and they've actually made a change. They said, I got to quit bitching about this. And I said, thank you. Just do something about it. Small steps in the right direction. It doesn't matter how big your steps are, is if you're going in the right direction. Babies don't learn how to just stand up and run. No, you got to crawl, you got to get up, you got to learn your balance. So all of this is important. So in the spiritual realm, and I say the spiritual realm, it's just like trying to be spiritual. And it's like one of the things that way back when I was in grade school in the 60s, at Most Holy Redeemer and at Tampa Catholic. I always thought, and I met some of these monks at the monasteries, and we used to go on retreats to St. Leo's College there in around Dade City and there in Florida. And it's beautiful up there. It still is. When I was down there last time, I rode sort of through the neighborhood, and it's still beautiful down there. But anyway, had several religious experiences there with a couple of monks who were there on a sabbatical, a retreat kind of thing. They'd actually graduated school there and had come back, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so with that said, though, in having discussion, and this was back in the 60s, okay, late 60s. And so I'm having these religious experiences with Mother Mary, and I'm trying to have a conversation with a priest who's not trying to do something to me, somebody, he actually offered me a joint. He was like, some of us monks, we partake, you want some? And, like, okay. But the idea, though, that he was a cool dude, and he showed me something. He goes, well, prayer is what we make it. Our everyday actions can be prayers. Whether it's driving to work, it's a prayer. Whether and it doesn't have, you just say thank you to the universe, and I'm going to drive to work. I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to lose my temper. I'm going to do all these good things. I'm going to avoid hitting somebody, I'm going to be positive when I get to work. I don't care what happens. Okay, dokie, and, it is what we make of it. If we sit there, oh crap, I got to go to work again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you ain't there yet. And I've had this transmogrification, if you will, in my own self. When I used to have to drive back and I drove back and forth. It was an hour each way. So, and for 8 years I did that. So I know about this. And so I realized after about three years, I was like, I don't want to be pissed off when I get to work. I know I got issues. So it is what I make of it before I even get there. So I changed my attitude, and I was having visitations with White Dove and Mother Mary back then. It was very intense, but for my side of the coin, I was like, you really got to stop and look at yourself and go, well, wait a minute. Am I part of the cause? So if somebody says, well, I had an argument with blah, blah, blah. Well, then it takes two to argue. Somebody can, I've done it. I've had people scream in my face, and it's like, not going to argue with you. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to argue with you. You have your opinion. I love you, not going to fight. But, and they literally want to punch you to get some kind of reaction out and just step back. And you'd be surprised. The anger will stop. There can be no fight. So, but people get caught up in the repetition. Well, like I their emotions start welling up, and they're picking up the other person's vibes, and it's really easy to go off, okay, because 'cause you're picking up the other person, but if you say and y stay the observer and go, "Wait a minute, I'm not gonna fight with you." So people who tell me, "Well, I'm they fight with me all the time," they can bitch at you, but only you create the fight. So are you in a circle and you don't know it? Is my point. Is this a repetitious behavior that we sort of have to have this need? And it's like we don't. We really seriously don't. It's like, well, stop it. Please stop it. Every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. It's what we choose to do with it from that point on. And so it's like, well, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. There you go. You can say, you know what? I see. I don't really understand it all, but I kind of sort of see your point. I'm gonna stop bitching right now. They keep right on going, and I mean for 10 or 20 minutes, and it's like, and I keep repeating, but you have the choice to change it. Yeah, I know, but blah 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 blah. Another 5 minutes, but you have the choice to be able. Blah, blah. They're not choosing. So are they in a cycle? Are they in a repetition? They have to do this over and over and over and over again in order to get the cravings or whatever. That's sort of what the lead in was about the holiday. We have these certain expectations. The holiday Thanksgiving and it's a turkey, blah, 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 blah. And so you put all this effort, energy to create this energy, spiritual thing around this meal. Christmas is for whatever it is, or Hanukkah or whatever. And so, but all these different things, it's the energy that's put forth into that. And it's like, why? Why do you wish to recreate this every year? What is the repetition? Why can't we feel spiritual every day? So, as some of the true monks who I say I try to ascribe to be, in that every day is a prayer, every day is a new prayer. Now, it may include old things. My sister has breast cancer. She's going to have surgery next Friday. And so it's like, got to keep those prayers up. And so, things change from day to day. Um, and you have to just look at him and say, "Well, I'm going to deal with it now," rather than worry about, "Oh my goodness, you're going to die," or blah. No, no, no. We gotta all stay positive about this, which she is, and the family is very wonderful. I didn't mean to go off on that, but on a personal note, there are people that we know who are going through illnesses. I myself having some bodily issues that I need to find out what's going on. And I realize also that I have not been taking enough baking soda, and I have, as much as I try to take care of my diet, I really haven't been doing the best job that I can. I'm 67. I don't want to kick the can right away. I've been through this kick the can crap, and I've decided I want to be around for a little while. And the only way I can do it is if I can continue to contain whatever illnesses or whatever. And I've got an internal infection that I've had for years, and here I go again. Just harder at 67 than it was at 55 or 60 even. But the thing is that there are other things though that I know that I can do, that I honestly have to hold up my hand and say, I've been lazy. So I have got myself into my own circle of repetition of being lazy. Well, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll get it later. No, get your lazy ass up and go do it now. That's what I've been telling myself. And so I might not be able to go far, but I can do it several times a day. Well, I'll go do this little thingy over here. Boom, get her done. Not worry about cleaning all the downstairs or whatever, or I'm going to clean up the whole yard and rake the leaves. No, I break up a small spot and am proud that I got that. I'm not as young as I used to be, but the thing is that I have to go back in with baby steps again, because I've let myself get lax over the holidays, for whatever holiday funk and all this other stuff is going on, and which puts me into this conversation. I've noticed over my many years, a lot of traumatic things happened to me as a child during November and December and January. January 17th. What day is today? Actually, the 12th. On January 17th of 1953, I was adopted. And so, well, no, 56, sorry. I was 3.5 years old. So there are deep set memories, and every time this time of year comes around, just there's weird stuff in the back of my brain somewhere. And I've learned to just like, okay, if I just have to sit still and let the shit go by, but I'm not going to be depressed about it. You're not going to drag me back into a previous thing, or I'm not going to get weepy about, oh, how the best, blah, blah, blah. Ain't going there, but it's a repetition in my own self every year. So I'm like, well, don't you put up a tree? No, because if I put up a tree, that reminds me of things that really didn't work out for me, because it reminds me of the pain and disappointment and the mistreatment and other things. Christmas trees don't mean the same thing to me. I got Christmas trees in the yard I planted years ago. They're my Christmas trees all year round. I don't decorate them because I just think that's silly. But the idea, though, that you know, the tree and the green tree, I've got, I've given these little Christmas tree type things away to folks. A friend of mine was here today. I gave him some last year to, landscape the front of his yard, but helped him dig them up and, cart them off so he could have some trees too. So, we share trees, we share the energies, we share things. But this idea, though, but why are we being repetitious? So people and the biggest thing is, can you stand and look in the mirror and say, I haven't been doing my best? Not to say, oh, no, you got to say, look, have you honestly been, have you been a little spiritually lazy lately? Have you done some, could you have done something to uplift your spirit some? Well, yeah, well, I just chose to stay in the house. Maybe you should have made a different choice. We were talking about predestination earlier today, me and a friend of mine. And I was like, predestination. I said, I have the choice to like go over here, like now, lift up the screen and do a live YouTube. No, nobody said I was predestined to do that. It was the last thing I was fixing to do. And by the way, all of those of you here, here, Mother Nature, Gerald, Dominic, hi Al, are you? Truth to me, you know me. If I go to reading too much, I'll get off the tangent. Billy Cow, how are you? A Lady Spitfire, blessings to all you folks. Blessing. Truth to me, I think I got everybody. Um, but so anyway, but this idea though, and it's not that you have to be critical of yourself, but you have to be honest, and there's a difference. There in theater, you had to critique. Okay, I really goofed up this line tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to do better. I'm going to deliver it better. I see where I goofed up. Okay, so and when I was supposed to pick up a thing, or I was supposed to open the door and I forgot my line, or so it's in theater, but you can't let it mess you up. But you have to notice that I made a small, I slipped up there, going to correct it. So it's a critique. So from a spiritual standpoint, we have to be honest with ourselves and look at ourselves and go, I could have done a little better. Not that it's not about kicking your own ass. It's being honest and go, I was a little lax in that. And all you have to do is say, I'm going to do better. I'm going to try to do better. That's it. That's all you got to say. And that the next time it comes around, you go, wait a minute, that's a red flag. I let that go by before. I'm going to do it now. Whatever. It might be some minute little thing, but it bugs you in some kind of way. But the idea that is you take care of it. And you take care of it because now you're observing, I was going to do that before, but I didn't, but now I'm aware of it. And now I did. I took care of it. So it's an achievement. It's a positive thing that you see that you're making progress in your spiritualness, in your own humanness, or whatever you may want to describe it, call it, or otherwise. Oh, I'm going to be live tonight with Milky Way Weekly with Brian and the mystery guest and me at 10 o'clock, I think, tonight. So if y'all are around, Milky Way Weekly tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time. But to this idea of being in a circle. So, and I have to look at my own life and go, man, I could have done better. When I thought I was doing pretty good, actually I wasn't. A couple of tweaks here and there. And it's like, why? Because I want to try to be, I would still want to be healthy. I still want to live a little longer. I still would like to see my grandchild. I got a great granddaughter I have never seen. I'd like to hang around for that. I'd like to go kayaking with my daughter and down in Florida, and we're going to get together. I'd like to do these, there's a few things that I'd like to do before I kick this old world out, you know. But the thing is though that, if I sit in a chair and mope about it, and well, I don't feel good. Well, fine. You waller in your own whatever. But, the other day, I just had to go to the river. I just threw some stuff in the back, kayaks on the truck, went to the river, paddled about 5 miles, 6 miles downstream and back in just about 3 hours. And I needed to paddle as hard as I could, as long as I could. I took a couple of short breaks, had to get out and pee twice, but about halfway. But to the point, no, it was a paddle. I had to have the exertion. 67 years old. I knew people, that are 5, 6 years old, younger than me, who can't do what I did the other day. But it's because I put forth the effort. I refuse to give up. Now that doesn't make me saintly or anything. What it means is though that regardless of my age, it's my attitude. And people get this attitude. Well, I don't know. I'm getting kind of old. I can't really do that. Like, have you tried? Well, no. And so then, please, please, I love you. But unless you're going to actively try to do something to help your own self, then stop bitching so much. You keep going in circles. You haven't learned from your own experience. Take these little baby steps, but always in the right direction. You'll get there. The older I get, I can't walk the miles that I used to, but I still try to walk. I still can paddle. I still can. There are other things I can do. You continue forward, but other people are. Forward is a circle to them. And I'm just like, come on now, guys. Please. I'm not trying to bitch at you. Look at what you told me. Listen to yourself. You gave yourself the answer. Are you listening? If not, then you're in a cycle, you're in a repetition. You have to, it's almost like the battered spouse syndrome, husband, wife, it goes both ways. But the idea though that you have to have some kind of tension, and I want to say it's adrenaline. Maybe it's that we have to create our own adrenochrome. Now, Brian and I on Milky Way Weekly, we talked about it around it before about the blood and so forth. But so what does this tension and everything give us? It heightens up our system. Our blood pressure goes up. Or this happens, that happens. And are we getting high on that? Meaning, have we become so addicted to it that if we don't have it, we must create it? We must find it somewhere in our world. Rather than learning from our previous mistakes, we are bound to repeat them because we're not paying attention. So what do? We simply stop and go, hang on a second. Wait a minute. Now, y'all know what is in your life, but just small things in my life that actually add up to bigger things, like taking a little bit more baking soda at my age, making sure I'm taking the saw palmetto regularly, which I forgot, and then found a bottle today after I cleaned up some shit that I should have cleaned up 3 weeks ago. So I mean, it's like, oh, I did buy some of this already. Holy crap. And I should have been taking it. Meh. So, I'm my own worst enemy. And I bet y'all have some little tinky thing somewhere that you go, I could do a little better on that. But see, it isn't about picking on yourself. This is one thing that's very important. It's that you observe, oh, holy crap. It's being honest and and then having the freaking guts to change it. That. How do you do it? Is it divine in I was asked this today. In talking about that, I've been in too many situations, about four, where I've had stage two hypothermia. And when you can't stop shaking for hours and you're covered in blankets and drinking hot tea and your core temperature still ain't what it's supposed to be, it's a frightening thing. I know what it's like, and it's like, man, I really don't want to freeze to death like that, but at least I've been there that far. I know what the next port is, and that's just falling asleep and being gone. But anyway, but the idea though that in those situations, what kept me from dying or from letting the hypothermia take me over. And I was talking to my friend, and I said, the the divine intervention for me was the strength that said, if I give up, that's it. It's the don't give up. Having the faith within myself and the creator. If you give up, that's it. You're dead. You're going to fall asleep, and you will die of hypothermia. They'll find you all curled up in a thingy, or stretched out, however I might fall. But to the point though, that how did I make it through it? Was it divine intervention? In some instances, I absolutely believe the angels were there. I walked with two of them in the woods for several days at one time when I had a heat stroke on the river. But to the point though, that what saved me was the divine information of, you can't give up. You've got the strength. Find it. Grab a hold of the energy of the universe and go ahead and get yourself out of the water. Struggle a little bit harder instead of going, oh my God, I can't do this. No, paddle some more, get yourself up out of the river, get into the canoe again, right yourself up, and for God's sakes, get back and get warm, because it was like 40 degrees outside and the water was like 45 degrees. Not much chance of warmth there. But almost drowned and froze to death that night. But you have to be aware of all things at all times. But one of the things you have to be aware of is, am I going in not a spiral? It could end up that way, but am I repeating myself? Am I asking the same spiritual question again? Now, I keep journals, and one of the things that I do, and have bitched about this to myself quite frequently these last few days, and to others, that I need to start doing my journal again and write it down, because there are things and thoughts that I have that I can go back later on and go, oh crap, I remember I did do this on such and such, and put the date down, the year, and I've got books of things, of stuff that I've talked about, written about, subjects, so forth. And I stopped doing it for some reason. Well, it's a minor thing, but is it? I need to write this stuff down. And it's right here. The pencil's right there. It's the connection I haven't made. That's my own fault. So I choose to fix that. Now, one could say, well, that's just a minor thing. But in my life, keeping this little journal and being able to go back over, I can double check. Have I talked about this shit before? I mean, to myself. Holy crap, I talked about this back 4 years ago. Whoa. Now, what is my insight to this same topic? So if you keep a journal of just things, thoughts, or whatever, put the date on it. And, it doesn't have to be in any particular order. But if you have this feeling, and the thing is that when you go back and go, holy crap, you can see your own repetition. That it's not necessarily a diary, mind you, but it's a journal of your experience, how the day was, whatever it is. But the thing is, you can flip back and go, that's how you can tell whether or not you're going in circles. That's one of the things that dawned on me these last couple of weeks through the holidays, kind of things. I was like, I have been lax in some of this stuff that had almost become like second nature. I'd wake up in the morning and have some coffee, and I'd write in the journal whatever was on my mind at the time. Maybe a dream, maybe a thought, maybe hi, it's sunny outside on Sunday, whatever it is. But the thing is, it also gives me a look back on oh wow, I wrote this down 8 years ago, and it was like this on that day. Oh, holy crap! Flip through the book, So it's interesting to help me keep my brain, if you will. it's sort of a window into my own past. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. I've got a book upstairs that where I wrote down the dates I bought shovels and some of these original trees 35 years ago. It's in a journal and written in pencil so it wouldn't get messed up with water or whatever. And I found it one day and I was like, holy crap. That's why I don't throw this away. It's a ring binder with different things in it, but it also had a list I was keeping up with tools and things, and nails and what I bought. And I'm like, but it gave me my own history here, but also good memories and the hardships that I've went through to keep this place, the times it flooded, the tornadoes that went over the house, the roof leak last night when the thunderstorm went through. I moved the computer and within a minute it started leaking. I could tell there, but I haven't been able to get up on the roof. There's a limb down up there and some leaves, and the roof is old and needs to be replaced. It was supposed to have been done by now, but anyway, I was looking at 30 years. It's been 36. So I got my life, the life out of that part of that portion of the roof easily. No complaints there. But I've worked on this area out front. So now I can move the scaffolding around so I can get up there and work on it. So I have been, and my friend come over and go, wow, y'all been really cleaning up. It really looks nice around here. I can tell you've been doing good. So see, little steps. Folks notice, wow, you really cleaned up that. Yeah, finally, after 4 years, and some of this nonsense. But to the point though, I used to sit and worry about, well, what do I do next? Doesn't matter. I just go out and piddle. And by the end of 15 or 20 minutes, I've collected some stuff. I've got a lot of old brick around here. And I have plants on them. And the cats have chased and knocked things down, and the brick are knocked over, and things have grown over them. And I just go outside and just piddle. But I've got part of the wall back up again, and I've got some of the other stuff, and some of the junk that I found that needed to be in garbage went into a garbage container. And so in 20 minutes, I got just piddling around. I got this cleaned up. It's been like that for 3 or 4 years. So, but what's the difference? My attitude. I looked at it before and said, oh my God, what am I going to do with that? Don't know. Don't care. I just work around the edges. Take a little here, take a little there. Don't worry about the big project. Do the small stuff you can get done. I can reach over and pick up this can or this pot that the cat's knocked over. Okay, did that. Well, there's something else. Going to do that. That's two things. I only went for one. That was to pick up the pot. The next thing was, oh, I saw something else. Got three things done. Was only going to pick up the pot. You know what I'm saying? So one thing leads to another, but if you don't do the first thing, nothing gets done. Big, small, but the thing is that we can't criticize ourselves about, well, I only got that much done. Now, if you're working on scale or something, that's important. But for me, as a retired and other people, there's folks who are like, well, I really wanted to get this project done. What else? What do you got tomorrow? The same thing. What do you got next day? Same thing. What do you got next week? Same thing. You got any plans? No. Then why are you worrying about whether or not you got this done in 2 days? Well, I used to do it in 2 days. Yeah, but it took you 6 months to make the mess. You ain't gonna clean it up in 2 days. Stop it. You're putting strain on you. But the thing is, going back to the circle of things, I think they needed the stress. They worked all their lives, and they always had a supervisor on their rear end. They were always working against the clock. And now that you don't have to work against the clock, what's there's no tension, stress, or whatever. And I learned before I lost the tension and stress to learn to deal with the tension and stress back then. So when I left it, there was still a loss. Don't get me wrong. And it hurt, boy. I felt lost for 2 years. Of course, I wasn't on disability or anything and wasn't retired. And I was still trying to find work and just, went from making $800 a week to $250, and that was on unemployment. But to the point, though, what we expect and what we have achieved in our lives is important. But a friend of mine, he goes, well, he said, I was in the store the other day, and he said, I saw this really good hammer, and there was a really good deal. So I bought this claw hammer. And I looked at him and I said, how many claw hammers do you have? He's got a drawer full of them hanging on the wall on a pegboard, and he bought another one. Well, it was a really good deal. I'm guilty of this, okay? I got tools all over the freaking place that I need to clean up. So I'm talking about myself in this. And I've already started the cleanup. So, yay for me. But to the point, so when I'm talking about other people, I'm kind of sort of talking mostly about my own issues here of tools. I've in this part of the shed that I left because then I piled something up in front of it and couldn't get to the tools to move them back, and things have gotten out of hand. So, but in my mind's eye, though, the whole picture is too big for me to deal with, and my brain shut off. So, in my realization, I realized I was caught in some kind of loop over here. And to get out of the loop, all I had to do was just stick a toe out, and go, I'm just going to do this little bit right here. Not going to look at the whole thing. Not going to worry about whether or not the whole shed's going to get cleared out. I'm going to clean up this spot and be proud, happy, and okay with that's all you got done. But it always led to a second or a third or a little bit more got cleaned up. And now the whole side over there is rearranged. I got a bunch of stuff burned and out of the way now, and cans and wire and things that were blah blah blah, blah in uh, containers, and so but little steps at a time. The big picture was blinding me. The big picture kept me from doing any of it. So, but I knew I was in the circle because I was like, I don't know how to deal with. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to deal. Oh, stop it! I was caught in my own circle. So I'm telling you from my own personal right now experience, I was caught in my own. Now there are different versions of it for each instance, blah blah blah. But the thing is that I wasn't. I wasn't. I was aware that there was something wrong, but it kept repeating and I wasn't doing anything about it. And I couldn't figure out why I wasn't doing anything about it and why I wasn't acting on certain things and whatever. And first you just have to break loose of the cycle, whatever that cycle is. Like for people who are hoard things and stuff, I'm bad about, wow, I could use that and bring it home. I've got so much shit now that it was useful at one time now, mind you, with perfect intent, but it's junk now. And that's what I'm dealing with. So, but some of the stuff is like, now that's really still I've still got, that's really, meh. But now I have to find a place to put it temporarily until I can finish my shed the way it's supposed to be done. Anyway, but I've made such a mess around the shed, I can't fix the shed. So, it's one thing after another. But the thing is though, that I'm taking baby steps and there is a difference. There has been the change a little bit here and a little bit there and this and I'm still moving in the same direction. And other people are seeing it. Wow, I can see. Whoa, good job. You did a lot in the last 10 days since I was here. It gives us confidence to move forward. It's an attaboy from the spirit world to yourself to keep up the good work, whatever it is. Now, I'm just using these things as my own examples. You choose whatever your life is. But the thing is, um, we we're not at this to beat ourselves up. We are at this to learn from our previous mistakes, to be aware that, oh crap, maybe Hawkeye is right, and I'm repeating something. Not that I'm right about whatever, but you got to look at this because you got to be honest, and you have to just sit back and don't get pissed off. It's not about judgment on yourself, but you have to be aware and go, wait a minute, I see this pattern I kind of get stuck in. I mean, there are some people, if they don't have 2 cups of coffee every morning, they're like, their whole day is miserable. And I mean, and they create it. And it's like, 1 cup isn't enough. Get one along the way, or get one later. Gotta have 2 cups before I go. I mean, and holy crap. There are some people who have these um repetitious cycles. Okay, what do you go? Well, I get up and I do this, and then I do that, and to do the same damn thing every day. Well, but no. It's one, two, it's this and this and this and this and this. Boom, same order. Maybe you just need to skip one or do the other just to change things, because it may be that we're doing things so subconsciously we're not aware of the rest of the stuff around us. That's the point. Well, I do this repetition. I do my best. I do the blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, but are you are I've known people who were so meticulous that they had to do this first, this first, this first, this first, this, and it was like they were anal retentive about it. And I was like, can a little eyeliner just work? And blah 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 blah. I was a makeup artist. I worked, in theater. You got enough makeup on. Trust me. Come on, let's go. Nope. Well, because I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and this is not right. Well, let me. Oh, stop it! It's not about you wearing makeup. It's the fact that you persist with it. And there are other people out there. I have relatives that used to be, some of them still are like that. And it's like, okie dokie, if you think it's important to spend an hour to do your face every day, fine by me. I would consider an hour doing something else more important, but they get into this repetitious cycle, and their psyche seems to think that if they don't do it, they can't do it. Their day is going to be wrong. And the first thing you can do is say, wait a minute. It's not that I don't have to, do this. It's that maybe I should just like not get freaked out about it. Well, because some people do get anal retentive about certain things. It's like, just chill out about it. Well, but if I don't get my calm down. But there you go, trying to make excuses. You have to stop yourself, be honest with yourself. And again, it's not about beating yourself up. This is not about having to do penance. Oh, woe, I'm flogging myself with a whip, okay? Oh, woe is me. I must do penance on the church steps. I must wear sackcloth. Oh, bullshit. No, no. We look at our mistakes and go, yeah, I can do better. And I'm not going to try to change the whole thing, but because I've noticed I should write in my journal, I should do this other thing, I should take a little bit of baking soda. These are minor little things. I should have cleaned up the counter in the bathroom. I would have found the softball medal that I thought I couldn't find because it was buried. My fault. If I do these things, then wait a minute. So tiny little things, 5 minutes in the bathroom, ding. But I could the whole thing was bothering me so bad. I didn't know where to put this and that. Then I started throwing shit away and going, oh, how long have you had that? Bye. So these things that have caught me in my own trap. No, I see it. It's my own trap. Nobody else said it for me. I did. But the thing is like, now that I can see it, now I understand that maybe, just maybe, I should just stick my toe out of the circle and say, I think if I can't get out of the circle, I'm going to make it at least an ellipse. You know what I mean? It might be like circle, but now it's more like an egg. You got sort of a point. You're trying to break out of it. Don't worry if you don't manage it all at one time, but always work in the same direction. If you get up tomorrow and go, son of a bitch, I wanted to do that. Like I forgot to do my little stretchy exercise today. And I'm not worried about it. Why? Because I did some other things. And if I get back to it after I do this video, 10 minutes, I'll do my little exercisey thing. Because I promised I would do it to keep my upper body strength up so I can stay in shape to go kayaking again. I got sore as hell making that paddle, and I shouldn't have. But so there are little things that I can do, and I need to stay healthier. I need to keep my circulation going. I may be precancerous, and God dog it, I'm going to flood as much whatever in me to keep anything from growing. But we'll see. Got to go to the doctor and check have some blood samples taken. Not to get y'all in a panic, but there's been some issues, and I'm old enough, and I got a family history about prostate cancer. So, I need to go check it out. Haven't been to the doctor in over 3 years. And so it's time to go get some blood work done. But there are things I need to do before I ever go to the doctor. And that is fix things within myself, like getting the softball medal that I bought that I haven't been taking. Shame on me. That can excite an issue. The bacon. So there are certain things I should have been doing. I didn't do. Now I surely have to go to the doctor. You know what I mean? So shame on me. I can't place any blame on anybody else. But the thing is, I'm hoping for a good result, in a positive way and all that good stuff. But the thing is that I sort of created my own issue here, not only physically, but spiritually and mentally. And so I've been caught in my own circle. Whatever that circle has or whiz or whatever, caught. Got it. First thing you do, recognize it. Second thing you do is I see it and I'm going to, it might be a little hard to get out of this circle, but I'm going to make an attempt. You might have to go in a little while. It might, like I say, it might look more like an egg shape or an ellipse or something. But the thing is that if you start walking in the same direction, in the positive direction, tiny little steps, you can't walk in a circle if it's a straight line. Well, it'll be bumpy and a little curvy, but not in a circle. So anyway, my friends, I love you dearly. I do. I'm gonna put my glasses on and read some of your comments. Mother Nature, I love you all. I do. And even though I haven't been on, I've been in this sort of like, what's wrong with this time of year, and what's going on with myself? Not I guess maybe it's just hibernation, but a lot of people are having this same kind of thing. So, hello, Aaron. How are you? Dominic. Hi. How are you? Chloe, as always. Truth in me. I see this as well and try to take it. What can I change? Sometimes we need to just move something in the space we live in. Exactly. Sometimes it's just for example, down here on my little table here, it got way too junky. And I was like, yeah, well, I need to clean that up. So I did today. And it looks nicer. The company came over and I was like, and it's clean now. Yeah, so it gets dirty again. But to the point was that, I don't know, it's move. And I cleaned that little spot, felt better. The orange from the oil I was using anyway, but moving something at all, right? Dominic says, I feel better already. Must keep doing better and stop serving the worst. Serving or surveying. Either way, it's not that we're in constant, oh, well, am I going to do bad today? It's the awareness that is, wait a minute, I want to do good today. And there may be things along the way. So it's like some people say when they go in the woods, they'll go, well, are there snakes? Somewhere. Are they around? I don't know. You keep making that kind of noise, you're going to scare everything away. But I digress. But the thing is so if you're going to go in the forest and see anything natural, you got to first be quiet. But it's the awareness. It's the awareness that you're making noise. Well, I'm out in the woods and I'm having a great time. Yeah, but I heard you a mile and a half away. Just saying. So it's your awareness in the world. I'm aware that there's crappy things going on, but I'm going to do the best I can. So it's a day. Your whole day is your prayer. That's the way this monk showed me years ago. And yes, he was of a Catholic order that I can't remember, but he was like, we work together and we do this thing, and it would work for humankind, and great. What's wrong with that? And as long as I got food and the basic essentials, I'm good to go, he says. But I get to help mankind out. And yeah, I serve the church and I do this. He goes, but I'm not really a priest. I'm a monk. And I was like, oh, so the church pays you, gives you room and board, such that it is, but you get to go out and help folk if that's your choice. Interesting. Now I've known many nuns over the years and so forth. But anyway, and Sister Arlene was like that. But anyway, but to the point though, so what we choose to do with our lives can change at a moment's notice. What do you wish to do? Do you wish to waller? Or do you wish to get out of the circle? Do you wish to change the cycle simply by being aware? Now, when you're aware of it, understand this isn't about criticizing yourself. You go, holy crap. I looked down and went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I rolled 5 cigarettes and smoked them. Damn it, man. I'm trying to cut down. Well, I haven't bought any from the store. That's good. But I look down because I only smoke about that much of these things. That's a self roll. Looks like a joint almost, but my friend was over earlier. He goes, "Is that a joint you're rolling there?" And I was like, "No, this is honestly tobacco." But the thing is I only smoke about that much of it, which from a regular cigarette and the longest it's over, it is less tobacco. But I was looking at my little cigarette butts down here, and I went, "Crap, have I rolled that many in today?" Well, shit, haven't wasn't aware of it, and I'm trying to cut down. Now I rolled this before the show and said you can't smoke it till you're done. So I've been looking at it. The lighter is sitting right here, but I said no. I have control over the situation. I can make a choice. I can light it, I can put it out. Now, to these cigarettes, sometimes I'll light them and just like take a couple of puffs and put it out. I'll relight it 3 or 4 times. But to the point though, in my own self, I need to stop smoking. I need to slow down. So I'm going to stay away from store bought cigarettes as much as I can, and that's my choice. But I've got lots of pipe tobacco and stuff. So, and if I can get my nicotine fix without it being, I'm apparently I'm rolling these damn things without even paying attention. And the whole point of rolling them was so that I could pay attention to how many times I was doing it. And I look over here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shit, there's 6 butts sitting there. Damn, man, I rolled all those today, last night, today. Shit, because I lay them out by in this ashtray and I count so I can give myself hell, you know. But to the point though, I go, well, okay, so now I'm going to roll one and I'm just going to sit here and look at it and go, I dare you to smoke it to myself. I dare you. Go ahead. How much willpower do you have? And that's the ticket. How much willpower do you have? The divine intervention may be your own divine intervention. You may already have what you need, but you are caught in some circle of life. The calendar, the seasons. I mean, they're already putting Valentine's stuff out. They could barely get the Christmas stuff out to put the Valentine's stuff in already. And I'm like, holy gee, Christmas here. But so they don't even give your brain the opportunity to move from out of holidays and give you no, they have to keep our spirits or they have to keep that holiday, whatever it is, going. It's a repetition. Why must we repeat it? Should we break any of the cycle? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't get somebody a Valentine's card. That's not my point. But do you have to go wacko over it? That's something you could stop and look at and go, well, we're going to have the kids are going to have a little Valentine's party, and I got my spouse or my other significant other, blah blah blah, and or my dear friend, I gave them a thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But for people to do this, they decorate their house for Valentine's with the hearts and the thing and the stuff. Do you think maybe you should back off of that just a little bit? Just saying. So, but in society, they try to keep this evolved. They try to keep our brains in chaos with holidays, with the spirit of it. You know what I mean? And like I say, it's not that you can't participate, but are you aware of what? Think of all the energy that's being siphoned, sucked, moved, or used elsewhere on actually an insignificant thing. If you didn't get a Christmas card from somebody, did you die? No. What was wrong? I was disappointed. Yeah, but did you die? No, but I was disappointed. Well, you were disappointed. Do you know what the other person? Maybe they didn't have the cards. Maybe they don't have, but you decided to say, "Oh, they didn't send me a Christmas card. I feel so." Oh, stop it! You should say, "Well, I didn't get a card from such and such. I hope they're okay." But that's not how it goes, and folks that are like that. Well, my friends, it's been almost an hour now, and I love you. I truly do. And there's 11 likes and 11 in the thing. 11, 11. Cheers. Let's just say, in the future for all of us, Um, yes, Mother Nature, disappointed due to expectations. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely. And that's what I was telling a friend of mine earlier today. I said, if you expect it and then it doesn't come out the way you wanted, then you're, "Oh, woe is me." Well, if you don't put any expectations on it, but you're absolutely right on with that. And people need to live their life like that. It's like, well, I expected something else. Well, stop it. Just go into it and hope for the best, whatever the situation may be. But if you're expecting something, now mothers are expecting, okay? Baby giraffes giraffes are having a baby, they're expecting. You and me, no. The expecting our expectations when we put forth how we think it should be or how it may be. I am telling you that many times I've gotten there and it not be anywhere, and I've spent all that energy trying to conjure up something that actually didn't turn out that way. So Mother Nature, right on the money. And everybody, Mr. Mensa, thank you. Much love. Truth in Me, Mother Nature, Lady Spitfire. I'm going to be on with Brian Milky Way with Brian Lunsford and a mystery guest tonight at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to get off, rest my voice, and prepare for later on. So if y'all are hanging around, come hang out with us tonight at 10 o'clock and we'll Milky Way Weekly. My friends, I always close with a prayer. I love you dearly. Keep up the good work. I know it's difficult. The energies are weird, but keep up the good work. And we're all in this together as my brothers and sisters. So close with the prayer. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept, receive, and learn and use the energy, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relations will accept, receive, and use and share the wisdom, the knowledge, and the strength from the universe. It is there. And I continue to pray the law of threes that each and every one of you will continue your good work. And I hope and pray that each and one of you, your friends and your family, and all of your relations will continue to accept, receive, and continue to share all of the blessings from the universe. My friends, until next time, be sweet, be kind, be compassionate. Cosmic hugs to all y'all. I really do love y'all. I do. So be sweet. Until next time. TTFN from South Georgia. Until later on, Brian's show. Bye bye, y'all.